Fog Dan's lock. Boost dead. Sight dead. Dead. Hey guys, Sir here. I've been using the G Pro Wireless as my main mouse for quite some time. Until recently I got my hands on the G Hottie, and now the HK Gaming Mira M, which is the topic of this video. It's no secret that the Mira M is very similar to these two mice, but they also happen to be my personal favorites, which is why when I heard about the Mira M, I knew I had to try it. HK Gaming were kind enough to send me one for review, but as always, everything I say is still my actual opinion. Here's a quick look. Included in the box is the mouse, optional grip tape, which I did end up using later on, extra mouse feet, and an information card. The Mira M is advertised as 63 grams. On my scale, it was read as 65, but that was also with the grip tape added. The overall height of the mouse is 39.5 millimeters, and the overall length of the mouse is 124 millimeters. The width at the widest part in the back is 64 millimeters, and the width in the narrowest part near the sensor is approximately 55 millimeters. The sensor is a PixArt 3360, which can go up to 1200 dpi in steps of 100. In terms of the shape, the Mira M, as I already mentioned, is extremely similar to the G Pro Wireless and the G Hottie, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I have large hands measuring at 20 centimeters by 10.5 centimeters, and personally found the shape to be great for my claw grip, with the hum placement being closer to the middle versus more towards the back. Also, I don't know what it is about the shape, but for some reason my hand and wrist tend to feel a lot better when using these types of mice. Everyone is different, of course, and will have different ergonomic needs, so my experience when I'm about to say obviously won't apply to everyone, but the shape for me is one of the best on the market. It isn't perfect, but it's the closest thing when it comes to longevity and how long I can use a mouse shape without pain. The only gripe I have with this mouse is the build quality. Overall, the build quality isn't terrible, but there's definitely some room for improvement. Namely, the wobble on the buttons and the disturbing creaking sound from gripping the mouse sides. It's worth mentioning that these issues haven't really made an impact on my performance in games, but they can still be quite annoying. As far as the buttons and scroll wheel are concerned, they're typical run-of-the-mill, not bad, but also nothing to write home about. The clicks are light, but not too light, and the scroll wheel has 4 columns of tiny bumps to provide feedback when scrolling. Something that I really appreciate about the mouse is the mouse cable. Other than it sliding out of my mouse bungee, which was easily fixed with some scotch tape, I've had no issues with it. This cable is very flexible and is basically a paracord. I'm very happy to see this industry trend continue. Another great thing about this mouse is the mouse gates that come with it. These are made of the same material as Hyperglides, and as someone who usually replaces their mouse feet, HK Gaming saved me the trouble of doing it for myself. If you've never used these kinds of mouse gates, essentially what they do is make the glide of your mouse swipes more smooth and consistent. It feels less like you're fighting your mouse pad, especially when tracking. Weighing in at 63 grams with a paracord-like cable and PTFE mouse feet pre-installed, it's very clear that this mouse is targeted towards enthusiasts and FPS gamers who want their mouse to feel invisible to them while they're playing. But that's not the only group of people that I would recommend this mouse to. Because of its near identical shape to the ever so expensive G Pro Wireless, this much cheaper option is a good chance to test out the shape. If you want to try the G Pro Wireless because your favorite pro is using it, but you don't want to commit to paying over $100 on a mouse you're not sure you're going to like in the first place, this is the perfect mouse to satisfy your curiosity with. Now, of course, prices are subject to change, so make sure to check for yourself before you buy one, and also look through all the available color options, not only because you may prefer one color over another, but also because some of them, as of early October 2020, are currently less expensive than other color options. In case you're wondering, the one they sent me was the Serenity Blue option. Speaking of color options, this mouse has an RGB zone on the scroll wheel, and can be set to either display one color, or cycle through many colors using the optional software. The customization here is limited, but as the mice themselves are already different colors, and given that the RGB zone is so small to begin with, it's really a non-issue in my opinion. One thing worth noting is that if you do decide to download the software, make sure to uncheck Improve Pointer Precision and leave the mouse sensitivity slider alone, as for some reason they made this override your Windows mouse settings, and if you change your sensitivity in this setting rather than through your DPI, it can introduce issues like pixel skipping and input lag. Within the software, you can change DPI levels, change keybinds, make macros, change the RGB colors, adjust scrolling speed, double click speed, lift off distance, debounce time, and polling rate. As for other settings and mouse parameters, I urge you not to use them unless you absolutely know what you're doing. And also, once again, make sure that improved pointing precision is off. I already talked about how similar this mouse is to the G Pro Wireless, but I couldn't make this video without also mentioning the G-Wolf's Hottie. If you guys would like a review of the G-Wolf's Hottie, let me know in the comments. The reason I bring this up is because the Mira M and the G-Wolf's Hottie both share the same shape almost exactly, and they're both very light and serve the same market. If you're on the fence about which one to get, for me it comes down to colors, price, and availability. Other than that, the main difference is that the Mira M has RGB and is 3 grams heavier, and also has cutouts on the sides. Whereas the G-Wolf's Hottie has smooth sides, no RGB, and is 3 grams lighter. But if you think the holes on the sides will bother you on the Mira M, you could use the grip tape included with the Mira M to essentially turn the sides flat. Personally, I'd be happy to use either of these mice, and truth be told, if either of them came out with a bright green version, I would ditch the other one in a heartbeat. In conclusion, this mouse checks all the boxes for a top-tier competitive FPS mouse. And while the concept for the Mira M may be unoriginal, it's still one of the best on the market, and definitely worth some attention. Thanks for watching. If you guys have any questions, as always, I'll be answering those in the comments. If you liked the video, make sure to hit the like button, and consider subscribing for more content like this in the future. Oh!